If you watched my previous video on D4DJ, you would know that I have a soft spot for performance animations. And indeed, Bocchi the Rock feels like a blessing from the gods. And this is interesting too because the performances in BTR was assisted by a CG mocap studio, Exsa, the same studio that handles the performances in Bang Dream. If you squint hard enough, you can almost tell the similarities between them. As a matter of fact, you can totally swap Bocchi with Locke from Race to Suryland and they would look exactly the part. And indeed, some of the motion actors and mocap engineers from Bang Dream contributed to this too. Seems like band performances are a bit of their forte now ever since Bandori Season 2. The main difference obviously is that Bang Dream is CG while Bocchi is 2D. But it doesn't mean CG is out of the question, Exsa is in there for a reason. On Exsa's page, they are credited as 3D Works, Motion Capture, and 3D Layout. Performance 3D Works and Layout are sensible enough, but what is Motion Capture? How did they use Motion Capture on a 2D production? Well, my guess after thorough analysis is that they're using rotoscoping, tracing a recorded video frame by frame. This technique shines and accentuating the 3D shapes because you're directly drawing over 3-dimensional objects, but also giving it a healthy balance of humane touches. You can tell this is rotoscope and not a CG composite because of the variation in the lines. And anyone that had ever spammed Ctrl-Z to do line art in a paint program would know that line arts are the breeding ground of human errors. That's why I gave up and used Bezier curves instead. But how did they trace the motion actor and make them into anime girls? Well, again, Exsa is in there for a reason, so I think they roughly modeled the kessoku pen, complete with their instruments, rigged that up, mocap a couple of band performers, set up a camera, send the renders to the key animators, and then the rest of the owl. While I'm not sure they rotoscoped the characters too, they surely used the model as a close reference. A telltale sign of when a shot uses mocap in Bandori is when the characters move a bit too much. Since instead of starting with nothing and then spending time to build upon it, working with mocap means starting with something messy and cleaning it up. And this usually results in a thing ending up in a higher end of the movement spectrum. The reason I mention this is that in BTR, there is a lot of shots in the performance scenes where they're really pushing the keyframe count. It honestly amazes me on how they didn't cut corners with this. Okay, look, there's a shot in the final performance where, get this, the camera fucking spins! It fucking spins! It orbits the characters! It's not even a CG composite tool with this pure rotoscoping! What the fuck, guys, you guys didn't need to go that hard! Needless to say, it blew me away. Everything about this. They really went hard on this, they really don't need to. But they did it anyways because the power of love and friendship, and honestly I'm at a loss for words.